What started as a quiet night for 3 teenage girls ended in sudden chaos. Gunfire erupted on a residential street, leaving 1 young woman dead and 2 others wounded. But as investigators dug deeper, a far more disturbing web of violence, revenge, and gang affiliation began to surface. From social media clues to a suspect out on bail for a previous murder, this case uncovers the chilling truth behind a tragic ambush and the dangerous decisions that led to it. This is the story of how one drive-by encounter exposed years of hidden tension, leading to multiple arrests, life-altering sentences, and a community left searching for answers.
For the update here, caller heard a female yell, "I've been shot." The caller did hear about 15 shots, possibly from 2 different guns. It is possibly coming from Long Island and Custer.
Would that be something if it's a chick from before?
TC did advise MSD of the shooting. We have 2 injured on the board. I'm going to dupe them all together eventually. I just want them to continue entering the information before I dupe them.
Arriving units observed multiple injured individuals on scene and quickly positioned their vehicles to assist the wounded.
Oh, here, looks like people are hurt. Zero.
Yeah, we got him. I need you to move so we can do CPR. Can you step off this side so we can do CPR?
One of the female victims was found breathing. Officers urgently tried to assess her condition and understand what had transpired.
She shot till we need help.
What happened? Is she okay?
Someone let off.
I don't know, bro. Where's the ambulance?
They're coming.
Where's they at, bro?
She got shot in the leg.
Yes.
She's conscious and breathing.
But she just shot.
Yeah, we got someone working. We know who shot you.
We have another black female. Not conscious, not breathing.
Ma'am, can you do me a favor? They've got to work on both sides.
Yeah,
You got to step back for me, okay? So they can keep working.
It's going to be 18 assault, right?
Was anybody out here when this happened? Did they see anything?
Oh, bro, I didn't see shit.
Did you see what happened?
Oh, we just trying to surprise my friend.
So you were coming to surprise a friend?
Got out of jail.
Earlier? Is this what happened earlier?
No, this just happened.
No, but is this...
Everybody just out, you know, but nothing was going on.
We didn't know
I
before
passed
this.
myself out,
That's why
nothing to do with that.
I'm responsive. Been doing CPR since we got here.
Taji, you have to calm down.
All we doing was coming to see Fredo. We were trying to show off Jigga. That's it.
One female sustained a gunshot wound to the upper right portion of her chest.
She shot in the right upper chest. Jigga.
dealt with her. Ma'am. First name?
Yes.
What's her first name?
At this stage of the investigation, we determined that a gray Kia Soul was involved in the shooting. 3 females were inside the vehicle when the gunfire erupted. Medics on scene were actively working to stabilize one of the victims, identified as Camiona. Another female, later confirmed as Tajiana, had sustained a gunshot wound to her leg or lower back. A third individual, referred to as Jiga, had left the immediate area prior to officer arrival, either walking off or moving beyond the range of available body cam footage. At that point, we had not confirmed whether she was injured or that she was a passenger in the vehicle. Further into the investigation, it became evident the girls had been en route to meet an individual named Fredo, reportedly an ex-boyfriend of Jiga's who had recently been released from jail. Officers also noted the presence of a female known as Sierra at the scene, who was initially believed to be Camuna's sister.
Find the sister. The sister's the one that we dealt with earlier.
I just saw right now. I said, who was talking to you? You said nothing happened. We was trying to talk to you.
Real quick.
Said no.
At the time, officers initially believed Sierra to be Camiona's sister. However, it was later clarified that while the two were not biologically related, they were closely connected. Camiona was in a relationship with Sierra's younger brother, Omarion. As the investigation progressed, officers grew increasingly suspicious of Sierra, especially after learning she had placed an emergency call earlier that same day. The location of the shooting, just outside Sierra's residence, which she shares with Omarion and other individuals, further raised concern. A male civilian on scene who was the first to alert responders that Camiona had been shot is believed to be Sierra's boyfriend, though this has not been officially verified. At this point, the central question remained, who was responsible for opening fire on the 3 girls in the vehicle?
Shots came from this way. There's bullet holes in the windshield and stuff. There's one in her right collarbone.
There might be one on the side of her head, too.
No balls.
Well, she was out here. I came running after.
Thanks for your help.
I didn't mean to grab you.
They got to work on it.
You got gloves.
We're going to do one more rhythm check here in a little bit, and then we'll call it. That's a friend's auntie's car? So who's driving that?
My friend.
Who was in the street?
Yeah.
We dealt with Sierra earlier tonight, and there's possibly shots fired. You don't know much about her?
I really hope she didn't. I don't know. We friends with them.
So,
when I was
do you know if her boyfriend's violent or anything like that? You don't know?
He just graduated high school. She used to talk to the boy that just got out of jail. We wanted to surprise him. I had a gut feeling. I said it before we even got shot. We do not need to be on this block. If something's gonna happen. And all I see is this little a sicker car.
silver car?
The silver car, I see them flick their lights. Especially for the pull over, they start shooting.
The silver car does?
Yes, they pulled. Somebody seen something.
Okay, yeah.
Somebody had to. They always outside.
No,
my friend,
not
she's in
saying,
college.
but we just gotta-
I'm graduating high school.
Where do you go to high school?
My boyfriend, that was I don't know if you seen him. They all in the house. They come outside and
No
they
one's-
running. I graduate. I'm a being.
What's the single gunshot wound that trust here, Alyssa?
Yes. Will she be going to the same hospital?
I'm not sure. Yeah. What's the friend's name that just got out of prison?
Fredo.
Fredo? You don't know much about him?
No. I'm so sorry. I think I'm giving you information.
Here, real fire this. My fourth check kidneys.
Right here. Do you remember that non-shooting from earlier? This is her sister.
So this might have been
Related, but she didn't want to tell us anything.
Suspect description is going to be two subjects, unknown race or sex, operating a silver vehicle, heavy tint. Victims pull up, subjects exit the vehicle, discharge firearm at vehicle, striking victims, and fled south.
Be advised, right now we're up to about 20 family members and they're pretty upset.
As police secure the area, investigators and other officers begin questioning those on scene.
know anybody that got hit or anything like that? Did you see anything or hear anything?
I was standing on the side, and I got a newborn in the house, and I got a 10-year-old that was playing around, and I just ran. I ain't looked because I wasn't trying to go see because I got kids at home too.
Based on the official report and statements from Tajiana, detectives later interviewed the third passenger from the vehicle, identified as Jiga. During questioning, Jiga stated she had seen Omarion and his associate Dallin standing outside Omarion's residence just moments before the gunfire began. Another individual, Fredo, whose real name is Rashan, was also interviewed. Initially, Rashan denied witnessing or hearing anything. However, in a follow-up conversation with a different detective, he admitted he was outside during the shooting and saw part of the incident unfold. Due to conflicting accounts and inconsistencies in the statements and movements of Omarion, Dallin, and Rashan, all three were identified as potential suspects in the case. Evidence suggested that the girls were targeted while attempting to surprise a group of males in the area, ultimately resulting in Camiona's death. Tajiana also mentioned a dark-tinted vehicle that may have carried additional armed individuals. However, this vehicle was never referenced in the arrest report filed days later, and to date there is no confirmation that it was ever located or officially tied to the investigation. Despite this, investigators gathered sufficient probable cause to issue an arrest warrant for one of the suspects. At approximately 1:47 a.m. that same night, officers executed a surprise entry at the residence where the shooting had occurred. This is the look of 18-year-old Dallin Bridges as he's arrested for murder.
You got anything on you?
Hey, y'all. Phone me. What is y'all doing? Girlfriend, y'all trying to take my brother to the job. Slap the shit out of one of y'all. What? What'd you just say? Huh? Turn around. What are you gonna do?
The second individual to be arrested was 18-year-old Omarion and McNeely.
I'm relaxed, bro. Look how you holding my arm and look how y'all got the cut.
Look how you was acting. You just be cool. The cuffs wouldn't be that tight, right? Right? You hear what I'm saying?
My girl said it.
I'm sorry about that, okay?
Oh, you said it was
Exactly, that's what I told you.
Come on.
I'll take my money out to jail.
Omarion's Facebook page, which we found through the grapevine of research, shows posts of him celebrating his graduation, along with posts of him and Camiona as a couple. You may have noticed his Facebook name is listed as HNPODZ. After doing a bit of digging, we discovered a handful of Omarion's friends also had HNP in their Facebook name, and many supplied it in their About section as well. We couldn't determine exactly what HNP stands for. A parent gang that Dallin, a.k.a. Day Day, and the third suspect, Rashawn, a.k.a. Fredo, who was arrested off camera, all seemed to be a part of, at least according to their social media profiles. Fredo, a.k.a. Rashawn, had not actually been fully released from the law as he was out on bail, with GPS monitoring for a separate murder charge. Regarding the murder charge Rashawn faced prior to the events in this video, many of the HNP network of friends made Facebook posts calling for Rashawn's release while using his alias name. He was being tried for shooting and killing 26-year-old Jasmine Brown in April of 2021. According to news reports, Rashawn's older brother, Angelo McCaleb, apparently had an unpleasant run-in with an ex-girlfriend and her group of friends at a club which included Jasmine. In retaliation, Angelo allegedly placed a rifle in the front seat of his vehicle as the group of women left the club. Soon after, Rashawn, who was a passenger in his brother's vehicle, picked up the rifle, stood through the moonroof of the car, and shot at the group of women after they stopped at a house to drop the ex-girlfriend off. Rashawn was just 16 years old when he allegedly shot and killed Jasmine, and had been jailed for nearly a year before being released back out into the public, thanks to a sudden change in his bond agreement. The court changed his bail from a $30,000 0 cash bond to a $30,000 0 signature bond, giving him the ability to leave jail without any upfront cost during his transition to house arrest. According to news sources, this sudden change happened due to a prosecutor's key witness failing to show at trial. That key witness was allegedly Angelo himself. The prosecution's failure to present a witness then prompted Rashawn to request a speedy trial. In Wisconsin, a speedy trial means a trial date must be set within 90 days. Because the court could not meet this timeline, they were legally required to give Rashawn an alternative bond type or drop his murder case. While under home arrest, 17-year-old Rashawn resided in the same home as Omarion, next to where the shooting in this video took place. While at the residence, Rashawn, Dalen, and Omarion allegedly witnessed a gray vehicle driving up and down the street multiple times. The vehicle had heavily tinted windows preventing anybody from seeing inside. This put Rashawn on edge, as he allegedly received threats for having killed Jasmine the year prior. The three agreed that when the vehicle came around the road again, they would all shoot at the car. Unfortunately, Kimona, Tagiana, and Jiga got caught in the alleged crossfire. It is unclear what happened to those inside the mysterious vehicle, but by the time police arrived, they appeared to have sped off. It is also unclear if officers suspected the occupants of the vehicle fired any bullets at all, although Tagiana's ambulance testimony claims guns were shot from both sides of the mysterious vehicle. According to news sources, Omarion's older sister, possibly Sierra, is Rashawn's adopted mother. While she says she did not see the shooting, she reportedly later admitted finding her brother, Omarion, destroying his bedroom right after the shooting, where he allegedly said, "She's my girl, but they're my brothers." Officers appeared to arrest her for further questioning, though we were unable to find any charges pressed against her. Before her apprehension, officers allowed her to change out of her T-shirt, as it appeared to be covered in blood from the crime scene. During a search of the house, officers discovered 5 different handguns, one of which had an extended magazine. Forensic investigations conducted later found 24 casings on the site of the shooting. Rashawn estimated that he fired 15 to 20 shots. Dayline estimated that he fired 10 to 12. Omarion allegedly fired just one time before his gun jammed. All 3 male teenagers were charged with 2 counts of first-degree recklessly endangering safety as a party to a crime. Daylan and Rashawn were each additionally charged with 1 count of first-degree reckless homicide as a party to a crime. All 3 also initially entered a plea of not guilty. For Omarion's case, it would take him just over 9 months to change his plea from not guilty to guilty. He was found guilty on both counts of his first-degree recklessly endangering safety charges. For each, he was sentenced 6 years in prison with 5 years of probation, to be served concurrently, making that the total sentence. His sentence came with 290 days of jail credit. He is estimated to be released on probation in September of 2026, when he will be 22 years old. His probation will end when he is 30 years old. For Dallin's case, he would stand by his not guilty plea and move forward with a jury trial. The trial found him guilty on all counts. For his reckless homicide charge, he was sentenced 15 years in prison plus 5 years of probation. For each count of endangering safety, he was sentenced 3 years in prison plus 2 years of probation. All of his charges will be served concurrently, resulting in a total sentence of 15 years in prison and 5 years of probation. Dalen is starting with 346 days of jail credit. Having been sentenced in March of 2023, he is expected to be released on probation in April of 2032, when he will be 28 years old. He will not be released from probation until he is 39 years old. For Rashawn's case, he faced both the shootings he was involved in. He also faced 2 counts of bail jumping for previously failing to show up to court. In addition to the charges for this case, his previous case pressed charges for 1 count of second-degree reckless homicide as a party to a crime and 1 count of first-degree recklessly endangering safety as a party to a crime. In court, he would switch his not guilty plea to guilty for all charges. For his first-degree murder charge, he was sentenced to 32 years in prison with 8 years of probation to be served consecutively with other charges for both his first-degree recklessly endangering safety charges, He was charged a total of 3 years in prison and 2 years of probation. For his previous second-degree homicide charge, he was sentenced to 14 years in prison with 6 years of probation. For his previous first-degree recklessly endangering safety charge, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison with 3 years of probation. His bail-jumping charges were dismissed, but read in total, Rezan was sentenced 52 years in prison with 19 years of probation. He was given $623.00, roughly 5 months after his sentence. According to official court websites, Rashawn will not be released on probation until November 2057, when he will be 53 years old. He will not be released from probation until he is almost 90 years old. Currently, both Rashawn and Dallin have submitted their cases to the Court of Appeals. The outcome of those appeals is yet to be determined.